There is a woman somewhere tonight, gazing up at the ceiling in a quiet room. The darkness wraps around her, and the silence feels deafening. Her bed is cold, not because of the chill in the air, but because no one is lying next to her. She has overheard the whispers of others. Why is she still alone? What is wrong with her? Doesn't she deserve love? She has given everything she has. She has waited, prayed, hoped, and perhaps even cried herself to sleep. Still, she remains by herself. But let me remind you today, she is not forgotten. A lie has been passed down through time, a lie that says a woman is only complete when she is with a man, that her worth is defined by a ring on her finger and a new last name. But what if I told you that even without someone beside her, a woman is still chosen? That not having a husband doesn't mean she lacks purpose? That her story is not one of sorrow, but one being crafted into a beautiful testimony? Many of the most powerful women in both history and scripture walked alone, but they never walked without purpose. Some lost their husbands, others were never married, some were left behind, and others were pushed aside. Yet, none of them were overlooked by the one who writes every chapter of our lives. And tonight, if you are that woman, if you've ever felt unseen, undeserving, or unloved, this message is for you. Because being alone is not the end of your story. God still has so much more in store. Stay with me, because by the end of this message, you'll see why your life, just as it is, with or without a husband, is part of a plan far greater than you ever imagined. The quiet nights can be the loudest. A woman who sleeps alone without a husband knows this all too well. When the world quiets and the noise fades, she is left with her own thoughts. She shifts in bed, glancing at the empty space beside her, feeling not just its vacancy, but the weight of what's missing. She wonders if anyone really sees her. Does anyone truly grasp the depth of what she carries? She remembers times when she had hope, when she had dreams, when she believed that life would look different by now. She's watched friends marry, seen others raise families, and yet, here she is, alone. Not because she chose it, not because she lacked love to give, but simply because life unfolded in a way she never expected. And in that silence, one question repeats in her soul: does my life still matter if I'm not married? Loneliness isn't just about being physically alone, it's about feeling unseen. A woman walking through life alone often carries silent burdens that others don't notice. She sits in rooms where the conversation revolves around marriage and children, and though she smiles, she feels like an outsider. She returns home to a quiet place, where no one is waiting to ask her about her day. She faces challenges without anyone beside her. She makes tough decisions alone. And yet, she keeps moving forward, day after day, night after night. She gets back up. The world may not acknowledge her strength, but heaven surely does. There's something sacred about a woman who has learned to stand on her own. She might not have a husband beside her, but she's walked through storms and emerged stronger. She's felt heartache and continued to love. She's faced disappointments and still chosen hope. She's battled doubt but still clings to her faith. That kind of woman, the one who keeps moving, keeps believing, keeps trusting when nothing makes sense, is someone God can use in powerful ways. She is not invisible. She is not forgotten. She is not incomplete. The world may say otherwise. It may whisper that she's not whole, that something's wrong, that she missed the mark somewhere along the way. But those are the lies of a world that doesn't understand the strength of a woman who walks with God. Because even though she sleeps alone, she is never truly alone. In the quietest, hardest nights, there is one who sees her. He knows every tear, every longing, every silent prayer, and he doesn't view her as lacking. He sees a woman being prepared for something far greater. She may not understand it yet, but every lonely evening, every unanswered question, every still moment is shaping her into someone stronger than she ever knew she could become. The world is quick to judge a woman who walks without a man. People watch her with questioning eyes, judging her worth by whether or not she has a husband. Relatives ask when she'll settle down. Friends, even without intending to, remind her of what she doesn't have. The media tells her that love and relationships are the ultimate proof of a woman's value. She may not voice it, but deep down she wonders, am I missing something? Did I lose my chance? Did I take the wrong path? Am I incomplete because no one calls me theirs? These thoughts are heavy, and the world doesn't help make them lighter. The judgment comes in gentle words, quick glances, and conversations that subtly suggest she's lacking something important. But what the world doesn't see, God sees clearly. While people pursue titles, relationships, and outward achievements, God looks deeper. He sees the heart. He doesn't measure a woman's worth by a wedding band or a shared surname. He doesn't see her as forgotten. He sees her as chosen, set apart, created for a purpose greater than society's expectations. She is not just a woman who sleeps alone. She is a woman who stands before her Creator with a heart wide open, ready for whatever comes next. And that, being ready for God's calling, is more valuable than anything the world can offer. The world often believes a woman is only complete when she's with someone. But history and faith tell a different story. Many of the strongest women ever to live weren't known for their marriages, but for their courage and faith. Esther was brought into a palace long before she became queen, and her strength didn't come from her title. It came from her bravery to protect her people. Ruth was a widow in a foreign land, but her loyalty and strength led her into a story of redemption she never imagined. Mary Magdalene wasn't remembered for being a wife, but for her love and devotion to Christ. She was one of the first to witness his resurrection. These women were never judged by God in the way the world might judge them. They were called. They were chosen. They were strong. A woman who sleeps alone may feel judged by the world, but she doesn't carry that burden alone. The one who made her sees beyond what others assume. He knows the prayers she whispers at night, the pain she conceals, and the strength it takes to rise each day with courage. She is not defined by what she lacks. She is defined by the one who has already called her more than enough. And once she accepts that truth, the voices of the world lose their power over her. The strength of a woman standing alone is often overlooked. People see her by herself and assume she's weak, as though not having a husband means lacking strength. But the truth tells a different story. The strongest women who ever walked this earth didn't need someone beside them to be powerful. They were leaders, warriors, mothers, and visionaries. Their strength came from the calling inside them, not from someone walking next to them. True strength isn't measured by who holds your hand. It's shown in the fire you walk through and the faith that keeps you moving forward. A woman who sleeps alone, who faces life's challenges without a partner, learns a strength many people never have to discover. She has felt the heavy weight of life, yet she rises. She's made decisions without someone to guide her. She's carried burdens meant for two, and still she hasn't fallen. She's walked into rooms full of couples, families, and crowds, and she walks with her head held high. The world may look at her and only see solitude, but she knows better. She knows that being alone doesn't mean being weak. She has learned to fight in prayer, to trust in the unknown, and to silence the voices that say she's not enough. She is more than enough. She is fully capable. She isn't waiting for someone to complete her, because she is already whole. Still, there are moments when the weight feels too much to bear. In the middle of the night, when there's no one to share her thoughts with, she might wonder if she'll always walk alone. But true strength isn't the absence of hardship. It's the courage to keep moving through it. The world may try to define her by what she lacks, but she knows better. She knows she is defined by the strength that resides within her. And every challenge she's faced on her own has been shaping her into the woman she was always meant to be. Unstoppable. Every tear she has quietly wiped away has been preparing her for greater joy. Every night she spent wondering if she could keep going has only shown her that she already is. She doesn't need praise from the world to understand her worth. She doesn't need society's approval to see her value. She stands firm because she has been made resilient. She is not a woman waiting to be saved. She is already overcoming. And when the world finally recognizes her for who she truly is, they will not see loneliness. They will see a woman who has become unstoppable. The fear of being forgotten runs deep, especially for a woman who sleeps alone. It's not just about not having a husband or a partner. It's the unsettling thought that perhaps her life could pass by unnoticed, that maybe her existence doesn't carry the significance it was meant to. She watches others build families, listening to conversations revolving around weddings, anniversaries, and children. She cheers for others, but in quiet moments she wonders, will anyone ever celebrate me? There's something profoundly human in the need to be seen, to be known, to be loved. A woman doesn't long for love simply because society expects it. She yearns for it because her heart was created to connect. But when that connection doesn't come the way she imagined, when years pass and prayers seem unanswered, it's easy to believe a painful lie. Maybe I don't matter as much. Maybe my life isn't as significant. But that couldn't be further from the truth. The reality is, no woman, regardless of her relationship status, is unseen by the one who created her. The world might overlook her, but heaven never does. Not a single moment, not one tear, not even the softest prayer whispered in the dark is ever ignored. This fear of being forgotten is a lie planted by the enemy, trying to convince her that her worth depends on others noticing her. But her value was determined long before anyone had the chance to approve or disapprove. What she needs to realize is this: being alone doesn't mean being overlooked. Some of the most powerful women in history walked lonely paths, yet their influence has lasted across generations. The world may not always recognize the strength of a woman who carries her struggles quietly, but God certainly does. Every night she spends in quiet reflection, every moment she chooses belief over fear, every time she rises and continues moving despite feeling empty. Those are the signs of a woman who is not unnoticed but chosen. Being favored doesn't always look like success or applause. Sometimes it's found in the waiting, in the refining, in the shaping of her heart for something bigger than she can yet understand. A woman who sleeps alone might fear that her name will never be remembered with honor, that her story might fade away. But the truth is, her story is being written by the only author who truly matters. And when he writes, it is never a tale of abandonment. It is always a tale of purpose, of design, of destiny. She is not invisible. She is being shaped. She is not left behind. She is being prepared for something greater. And one day, when she looks back, she will realize that every moment she thought she was alone, she was actually being held. There's a longing in every human heart that no other person can fully fill. A woman who sleeps alone might feel this emptiness more clearly, thinking it's the absence of a husband that causes the ache. She watches couples holding hands, families laughing together, love stories unfolding before her eyes, and she wonders if something is missing from her life. The world tells her she needs romance to be complete, that she must have a partner to feel valuable. So she prays. She waits. And sometimes she weeps in the stillness of the night, asking why love hasn't found her yet. But what if the love she seeks isn't the love she truly needs? What if the loneliness she feels isn't meant to be filled by another person, but by something far more lasting? The truth is that no relationship on earth, no matter how loving, deep, or loyal, can fill the deepest place in the human heart. That space was made for something eternal. No man, no marriage, no human connection can meet the need that only God can fulfill. A woman may think that once she finds the one, all her fears, doubts, and insecurities will vanish. But how many have found love only to realize the ache remains? How many have walked down the aisle expecting to feel whole, only to discover that human love, while beautiful, is limited, fragile, and can't hold the weight of the soul? God's love is different. It doesn't change with time. It doesn't falter when things get tough. It doesn't walk away when things shift. His love is constant, strong, and fulfilling in a way that no human love can ever be. When a woman truly understands this, the loneliness she once felt begins to fade. She stops waiting for a man to complete her because she realizes she is already whole. She no longer feels like something is missing because, in Christ, she has everything she needs. The nights that once felt cold and empty become moments of peace because she is resting in a love that never leaves. This doesn't mean she must give up on marriage or companionship. Love is a gift. A relationship built on shared faith and purpose can be a beautiful blessing. But a woman who sleeps alone must know she is not unloved. She is already fully, deeply, and eternally loved. Her worth is not measured by a wedding band. Her identity is not defined by a man's last name. She is treasured by the one who made her, pursued by the one who knows her completely, and held by a love that will never fail her. And when she truly believes this, the emptiness she once feared is no longer there, not because someone else stepped in to fix it, but because the only love that can truly satisfy already lives within her. A woman's identity is not determined by whether or not she is married. It is shaped by her purpose in God's eyes. The world may try to tell her that her value comes from being a wife, a mother, a partner, but God sees far beyond that. Her life had meaning before she ever dreamed of love. Her journey is not incomplete just because she falls asleep alone. Her calling doesn't depend on who walks beside her, but on who lives inside her. There is a harmful belief that has been passed down through generations, that a woman's greatest role is to become a wife, that she hasn't reached her full potential until a man chooses her. But what about the women who stood alone and still changed history? What about Deborah, who led with courage and wisdom? What about Mary, who carried the Savior of the world, not because she was married, but because she believed? What about the countless women who lived with strength, intelligence, and deep purpose, even without a husband's name to validate them? A woman who sleeps alone must remember, she is still called. She is still significant. She still matters. Her dreams and her gifts were not put on hold because she doesn't wear a ring. She is not waiting. She is working. There is something powerful inside her that this world needs, something she was created to give. And if she waits for a husband to give her permission to walk in that, she'll miss what God is already doing right now. Marriage is a blessing, but it is not the finish line. Companionship is wonderful, but it is not the foundation of who she is. If a woman waits to feel whole until she has a husband, she may never feel truly whole, because wholeness is not given by another person. It is discovered in knowing who she is in God. A man can walk beside her, but he cannot create her calling. A marriage can be a beautiful journey, but it cannot give her purpose. Only God can do that. A woman who sleeps alone is not forgotten. She is not abandoned, and she is not without direction. Her life is moving forward, guided by a divine plan. She has places to go, lives to touch, and a purpose to fulfill. She doesn't have to wait for someone else to begin living the full life she was created for. She was not made to wait. She was made to walk in purpose, to live with intention, and to fulfill a destiny that is already unfolding. The world might try to tell her that being alone means being left behind, but God says the opposite. She is not in a season of emptiness. She's in a season of growth. She's not waiting to be chosen. She has already been chosen by the one whose love never fails. Her strength is not proven by whether she has a partner, but in every battle she has fought and won by herself. It's shown in the nights she cried, but still woke up strong the next morning. It's in the faith she holds tightly to, even when the world tries to convince her to give up. She has faced loneliness and come out braver. She has waited without losing hope. She has been misjudged, misunderstood, and questioned, but she stands strong, knowing her worth doesn't come from the world's praise, but from the unchanging love of her Creator. She desires love, and she can wait with faith, but she must never accept the lie that she is less without it. Marriage is a wonderful gift, but it is not the only path. Love is a blessing, but it is not the foundation of purpose. A woman's worth is not found in her relationship status, but in the purpose God has placed within her. Let the world say whatever it wants, let the whispers rise, let the judgment come, but let her stay firm in the truth. She is not a woman waiting to be completed. She is not a missing piece. She is not lacking. She is already complete, already loved, already chosen. Whether she walks alone for a short time or for many years, she walks with meaning, with honor, with strength. And that is more than enough.